Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, called it race consciousness. It was the consciousness of the human race. And if you want to know what that is, turn on the television or pick up a newspaper or whatever. So the spiritual solution for this human condition is to be blessing consciousness, to express blessing consciousness, because when we're in this spiritual solution of being blessing consciousness, we are choosing to be the way of God instead of in the way of God. And we are radiating out that blessing consciousness no matter what. So what's in it for you? What do you think might be a blessing for you if you practice blessing consciousness? Let's hear from a few people. You don't have microphones. Peace. Yeah, peace. Instead of turmoil, right? Yes.
Serenity.
Serenity.
Joy.
Joy. Yeah.
Non-judgment.
Non-judgment. Well, some of the things I picked up from this first couple of chapters of the book is that, first of all, what's in it for us is that it's a simple spiritual practice. You know, not that any spiritual practice is easy, but this is a real simple one. We sometimes say, how do I do this in the world? And so we'll get into more of that detail. Also, it gives us, in addition to the joy and the peace that were mentioned, a sense of renewal when we are blessing others. It's, this one I know some of you may be interested in. It transforms social, political, and economic structures by transforming people's hearts. So instead of cursing those people, to actually bless them. And when we bless them, we're calling forth maybe the opposite of what we perceive they are expressing. We want to call that forth and know that truth of them, because everybody is made in the image and likeness of Spirit, of God, of divinity, so that's what we're calling forth, their highest and best selves. Also, it frees our thoughts from negativity, criticism, and judgment, as mentioned. And when we bless, we begin living our life in alignment with spiritual laws. And we always want to be in alignment with spiritual laws. So there's lots in it for you, and there's lots in it for me when we put feet on this wonderful spiritual practice of blessing. Pierre Pradervand defines it, blessing. He says, to bless means to wish unconditional, total, unrestricted good for others or situations from the deepest wellspring in the innermost chamber of the heart. And he said that in, there's some YouTubes, Pierre Pradervand, if you want to listen to them. And so I had to, know where it was and write it down when I got home from my walk from where I was listening to him talk, and I thought that was a great definition. And the publisher, in the very first part of the book, says that gratitude, that blessing is gratitude taken to the next level. And that's what I think about blessing. I can be grateful for all these things that I'm really happy about, but those things that challenge me, that's when I'm called forth to bless them, even though I may not be feeling grateful for them. So to me, it's really a higher spiritual practice than gratitude. But don't not be grateful. Then it's also, this was written by someone named David Spangler that Pierre Pradervand quotes in the book, from David's book, Blessing, the Art and Practice. Blessing is not a technique to perform, but a presence we embody. It's not a technique that we perform, it is a presence that we embody. It's not just an act that we do to someone or something, he says, but it's a relationship we form with them that enables us to be embraced in the presence of an unobstructed world. A relationship we form with them that enables us all to be embraced in the presence of an unobstructed world. So that when we bless, we literally are deepening our relationship with people, even though they may not know that we are blessing them. Because so many times our blessings that we do are anonymous, right? We do them silently. And also, when we turn our feelings from the negativity to frequencies of blessings, then we align with creative intelligence, and we experience that intelligence. Ram Dass stressed that everything is grist for the mill. Everything. Everything is grist for the mill. There is nothing that happens out there in the world to us or by anyone or anything that we cannot use as grist for the mill. And so that's what we're being called to do, is to take that situation, to take that person, and allow it to be the grist for our blessing mill, right? That we can grind it up, right, if you will. It sort of makes me think of the Tibetan practice of Tonglen, where we bring in whatever is out there, no matter how negative it may be, and we bring it in and let it scrub the barnacles off our heart and send out pure love. You know, so that everything is the grist for the mill. Everything we can bring into our heart, and we can transform it with the heart's alchemy through a consciousness of blessing. You've heard me say many times, and I never get tired of saying it, because I have to remember it all the time, that we're responsible for our second thought and our first action. So when we find ourselves with a thought of negativity or criticism, judgment, condemnation of another, we don't have to stay in that thought, because we're responsible for the second thought. Because that first thought, we don't have any control over. So we take that second thought and we reframe it, we turn it around, and we turn it into a blessing. And then we act, we put feet on that second thought, not the first thought. One of the things that Pierre points out in the book and in the YouTubes I listen to is that anybody can practice blessing. It's not limited to any faith tradition, any religion, or anything else. That even atheists can practice the art of blessing, because we're blessing others, we're sending love. And what is necessary for blessing is our intention and our motivation. You know, there's no specific words, there's no particular way to bless. There's no formula for it, other than having an intention to bless the person and to be motivated to be a blessing in the world. Now, there's one of the stories, and one of the things I think I love the most about this book is there's so many stories in it. And one of the stories that he tells in this first part of the book is about an astrophysicist named Dr. Lawrence Doyle. And during a judo tournament, his opponent bent his finger back until the bone protruded from the skin. You get that picture? You feel that? Okay. So while he was in the emergency room, he pondered the story of Job and the fact that Job blessed his friends, blessed and prayed for his friends. So Doyle began talking to and comforting all the people in the emergency room. until he completely forgot about his hand. And when he looked down, the bone had gone back into place. So he stayed anyway, and he had the x-ray, and the x-ray technician said that the bone had been broken, set, and healed already, and that he shouldn't have come to the ER at all. And Doyle's interpretation, he's an astrophysicist, not a Unity student, his interpretation was your hand exists in your thought. So when your thinking is correct, nothing, including time, can stop the healing process. And isn't that what we teach in Unity, you know? Our thoughts are things. Our thoughts make a difference. So, so what happens when we bless is that we put into effect these spiritual laws that are difficult to understand intellectually. And so a lot of times we call them the mystery, right? The mystery. And what I think about spiritual laws is that they are those all-encompassing, unchanging, dependable, immutable laws that always work. They always work, no matter what. There's the law of positive expectation, the law of right return, the golden rule, unconditional love, universal harmony, and I could go on. And they have one aim only, and that is the fulfillment of all beings. So, what happens when when we are in alignment with and in the flow of grace, I call it, we really are putting ourselves in alignment with spiritual law. And the laws of the third dimension do not apply at the fourth dimension. And so that's why we think it seems like a miracle. But it's because these laws, you know, they're way beyond the laws of the third dimension. So we have to know that when we invoke these laws, that seeming miracles happen. What's happening, I say seeming miracles because we think a miracle is something that defies the law, right? But really, at the fourth dimension, there are higher laws that we may not understand at work. So we may not be able to intellectually understand these laws, but you know, they work and they happen, and they are not dependent on the laws of this world. So that we're being asked to embrace the mystery. If we can't intellectually understand it, to know that, to invoke spiritual understanding, and to know that even if we can't get it or grok it intellectually, that there are these laws that are at work. So I'm wondering if any of you have experienced blessing a situation and experiencing the miracle and the mystery of that. Yes?
I had a very bad fall with a large laceration on my shin, and I had to go to the emergency room by ambulance, and eventually somebody came and wanted to stitch it together, and he said, oh, there's bone chipped off. I had to talk to the orthopedic surgeon. After that, he came back and said, yeah, I can just back one. And, no, I can close it up. And a while later, I made it to my physician and asked, why didn't anybody do an x-ray? So we had an x-ray done, and there was no bone chipped off. And so either it's a miracle or a low resolution.
So very similar to, the story of Doyle. Yeah. Yeah, and the x-ray didn't even show that it had been broken or been chipped off. So yeah. Any other, yeah, and I want to get you to use the microphone so that we capture it.
I was somewhere, and by mistake, I closed my hand in my van sliding door. I had to actually open the door to get my hand out. And I was visiting a friend, and I went back in, and crying and stuff. And we sang this song that we sing for healing. And I didn't have a black and blue or anything after that.
Cool. So that song was a song of blessing. Yeah, great. And one more, Amy.
Yeah, about 20 years ago, I was told that I had cancerous cells in a part of my body, and I was referred to a surgeon, and the surgeon, upon the exam, visualized the cells and said, yes, we're going to have to do surgery. So I dove deeply at that time into Louise Hay's work. This is the early 90s. And I did a lot of what she said to do, and I did blessings. And I went in for the surgery a few weeks later, and when I woke up, the doctor said there wasn't anything there. So I was like,
wow. Thank you. Yeah, so this isn't just something that we read about that happens to people that we don't know, but right here in this room, people have had these experiences of seeming miraculous healings that, again, were in alignment with spiritual law that is beyond the third dimension. I had a situation when, after my divorce, where I was having a very hard time blessing my ex, or as we say in Unity, my husband. And so I realized that I had to pray for him to have what it was I wanted in life. And so I spent a time just praying for him to have all those things that I want in my life, that he would have those. And I don't know if he was healed. There's been 2 more wives since then, so I have no idea. But I do know that it healed me. And just like forgiveness, blessing is for ourselves first and foremost, so that we can be that blessing consciousness in the world. And then anyone out there who is open and receptive, whether they know it or not, can be blessed by it as well. So, of course, the next question is, how do we do this? How do we be a blessing consciousness in the world? And the first way, as always here, is prayer and meditation. Because blessings are prayers. And so we have that opportunity to take a situation and instead of thinking that the situation is what it is and how it's affecting us, we have a chance to look at it and say, how would we like it to be? And to have that be our prayer. Pierre points out that the real communicator is not our humanity, but it is divine consciousness itself, the divine creator. And that we are just channels through which the divine expresses. And that there, again, as I said earlier, there's no right way to bless other than having that sincere intention and motivation to bless the person. So mentally, it's our second thought, our first action. Physically, it's being aware of when we are feeling that negativity, because when we're having negative thoughts, we feel it in our body if we're aware of our body sensations. It may be tightness, tension, whatever, it could be in the jaw, it could be in the gut, wherever. And then emotionally, just that awareness of feeling bad, and saying, wow, what's behind this? Is there a threat to my very foundation, my root chakra, right? What is it? And that's giving me this emotional feeling of sadness or upset or whatever. And then letting that be the red flag that, I could think differently. Instead of cursing this person, I could bless them. And then there's some real practical things that we can do, like make a commitment to wear the color of the day on Sunday to build that energy in the room, to be part of one of the soul circles. You know, we like to get everybody in the soul circles. I think there's a couple of soul circles that are still open. So if you haven't signed up for a soul circle yet, the sign-up sheets are out in the foyer, and please do it today, and be sure to pick up a copy of the study guide so that you can, you know, do your reading and be prepared in advance. And also to show up every Sunday. What would it be like if you could show up every Sunday for today and the next 6 weeks with that color of the week and all that, and really be part of this intentional community that we are to support, nourish, and inspire one another to be blessing consciousness in the world. So I celebrate that as a result of today's message, each one of us chooses to be blessing consciousness, to be the way of God instead of in the way of God, and to bless. Let every situation in our life be grist for the mill, to bless the situation, the person, the other sentient being, whatever it might be, and to really practice that. And let's begin doing that right now in a sacred time of shared prayer. And so I invite us to take this moment to just be present to this moment, to allow our breathing or any of our 5 senses to bring us to this present moment. To bring our attention to our physical heart. Feeling the sensation in the heart. And breathing in and out as if through the heart. Some of you will recognize this as the heart math process of deep heart connection. And so as we continue to breathe, as if breathing in and out through the heart, I invite you to experience a feeling tone that is the way of God. A feeling tone of care, compassion, gratitude, love, joy. And sometimes the best way to do that is to recall a time when you felt one of those feelings. And in this feeling tone of divine source, I invite you to send that feeling tone, that energy, throughout your body, blessing every cell and atom of your body, your heart, your soul, your mind. Letting this feeling of loving energy do its mighty work, blessing you in your physicality, in your mentality, in your emotions. And then take this feeling tone out beyond the body, Allow it to radiate out from every cell and atom of your body, your heart, your soul, your mind, to everyone in this room. Hold everyone in this room in this blessing consciousness, which is always an energy of love. And then bring to mind a situation, a person, another sentient being that may be challenging you. And invite them into this energy of love. Send forth or strengthen this energy, knowing that we are one. And as we radiate it, everyone experiences it. Just know for this situation and this person that it is what it is right now. If it's a person, it's the best they can do at this moment, even though it may not be the best they can do in potential. And just shower them with this blessing energy, this blessing consciousness. And then just continue radiating this out, this feeling tone of love and blessing towards specific situations or people, or just in general, to the world, to the universe, to the universes, together in the silence. And as we gently bring our attention back to this time and place, I invite you to silently say, "Thank you, Divine Source, that I am, for the wisdom to practice the gentle art of blessing, thereby raising my consciousness to blessing consciousness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That it is so, that we are so, and so it is. Amen.